This week on Movie Time Machine, a skilled London police officer, after irritating superiors with his embarrassing effectiveness, is transferred to a village where the easygoing officers object to his fervor for regulations. This is Hot Fuzz.
Welcome to Movie Time Machine, your retro movie review podcast where we take movies from the past and relive them in the present. This week's movie is Hot Fuzz, directed by Edgar Wright, written by Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg. Released on April 27th, 2007. I'm your Time Machine host, Chad, and I want to introduce you to my co-host joining me today. First, he's our living encyclopedia of movie knowledge and NES cart collector. It's James.
That was jolly good, Jamie.
And he's our tech guru and YouTube channel surfer. It's Casey.
Jamie, you're going to get in the top 8 on my MySpace.
And he's our sports reporter, Mr. Fish Wrap Factory himself, host of the Midwest Mountain Sports Report podcast. It's Jamie.
Nothing like a bit of girl on girl, eh?
Hey.
That's from the movie.
Yep. Wait, what?
All right, before we get into our topic of the week, let's have some casual conversation. Let's just go around the table, virtual table, and what's new. Don't necessarily... Actually, I'll cut this out, but I thought instead of us going around what we've been watching, you could just make this like casual topics, anything like around like movies, pop culture, etc. So, all right, what's everyone up to since our last pod?
Has anybody gotten into Squid Game yet?
Yeah, I tried watching it and I was like, there's just stuff with the audio. I was like, maybe I just need to come back to this later. But I've been hearing lots of good things about it.
I was going to give that a whirl soon. I haven't tried anything. I just heard decent things about it. So I want to check it out myself as well. I just was curious if anybody devoured it like it seems like the world has.
I haven't, but everyone that I've heard that has just thinks it's amazing. So,
I'm the only one out of the loop here, right? What is Squid Game?
No, I'm barely
It's
in
like
the loop. I know that it's a thing. That's all I know of.
Because what is it, like Japanese or Korean or something like that?
I believe it's
Korean. It's like a Korean Hunger Games.
Yeah, but like
something
weirder.
like if you can't repay your debts, you get sent to like some kind of like tournament where you have to like murder each other.
Weird game show.
Hey,
yeah,
Jamie,
like
I got
game show.
IMDb plot here. So hundreds of cash-strapped players accept a strange invitation to compete in children's games. Inside, a tempting prize awaits with deadly high stakes. A survival game that has a whopping 45.6 billion one prize at stake.
Interesting. Is it a series or a movie?
As my understanding, it's a series. It's
a series, and it's so popular that I think South Korea, they're suing Netflix because of how much bandwidth is being used in their country, and they have like agreements with other. I guess like technically speaking, they have agreements with other like companies that use a lot of data that they pay the government or whatever to use all that excess data. It's like millions of dollars it's costing their country because of how popular it is. It's crazy.
Whoa.
They're suing Netflix for that extra amount of money.
Imagine if Battle Royale sued them and then the Hunger Games just for...
Then we'd have a Hunger Games of all the Hunger Games, like who watches The Watchmen.
That could be like a corporate Battle Royale where all these corporate entities have to battle. And then the proletariats get to watch all the corporate slugs battle.
Dude.
Battle life
Speaking
or death.
my language, bro. You had me at proletariats.
Speaking of who's watching The Watchmen, I did just finish the Watchmen series on HBO, the one that came out like a couple years ago.
Oh yeah, what'd you think?
I loved it. There's no talk of them doing more with that, or even its own side thing. Like not even like
done.
I don't even need a continuation of the story. I just really appreciated just the production on it and the music behind all of it. I don't know. I'm a big sucker for when they do covers of songs on things like that. And I think The Watchmen was very good at placing music very appropriately. So I don't know. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was. I love it when you can do kind of like when you could do a sequel to something where it's not like it's not obvious that it's a direct continuation, I like how it kind of slowly started pulling in, things from the book, like that history,
Right.
but it wasn't like the main focus of the
Well,
story essentially. But
I didn't do a deep dive into it yet. I was intending on it, but so was this its own series? Was it written to be a series, and then they just loosely based on the book, or was there another book about this? Do you know?
No, I think the series was just based as like a continuation of the book.
God, it's so clever. No, I think they did a really good job with it. I really liked it.
And it's so good too because it makes you rethink. I need to go back and finish it. I've only gone through like 4 episodes, but it makes you rethink your favorite characters from like the comics and the film. Like I loved Rorschach in the new series, just kind of where that plot line goes. Just the supporters of Rorschach, shall we say, not good dudes.
No, exactly. Definitely not. And then and may I say, like, I know it's HBO, so we're gonna get some TNA, but the blue wang that was present during this show, I was very shocked they went all the way there, and they did. They went full blue wang.
Oh, it was a tribute to the movie.
Oh, it was good. It was good. I mean, the only thing that was missing, I do wish that Billy Crudup reprised a little, like half a second. I don't know why he was so busy, but whatever.
Doing the morning show.
Probably. Oh, that's true. That is where he is at right now.
Yes.
Case, what are you watching on YouTube?
I unfortunately, work has got me strapped. I've been working overtime, lots of nights. So nothing cool that I've been doing, but my big update is I don't know if you guys have seen commercials for this stupid thing, but I got a crazy good deal from a person who works for a phone company or a phone carrier. I got me one of those foldable things. I got the Samsung Z Fold 3, so I've been goofing around with this stupid, goofy, super overpriced piece of technology that is everything that I've ever wanted, but I would never normally spend the money on. So that's
is my understanding it's like basically if I take an average size of an iPhone, I could fold it in half and put it in my pocket, and that's the idea.
No. So imagine your iPhone but skinnier. So like awkwardly 3/4 width of your iPhone, and then now open that up and you've got 2 of them side by side as one with no gaps between it, one giant screen. So I can use the phone while it's folded. It's a thin one-handed phone, which, to get really nerdy, I think the iPhone 4, like the 4S and the 4, was the perfect size phone. It's the perfect one-handed phone. That square, boxy, perfect little piece of aluminum was the greatest size one-handed phone that ever existed. But I'm getting old. I got bad eyes. I like big phones. So like I started getting bigger phones. This thing has been beautiful because it's one-handed while closed is my dream tiny thin phone. Then I open that shit up when I want to play a game or watch a movie or browse tablet sized things. I've got this like iPad mini in my hand that I can just fold up and then put in my pocket. It's gaudy, it's goofy, it's not worth the price, but it's amazing. I love it.
You just were able to sell that item a lot better than any advertisement has done so far.
And I made fun of it at the same time.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
I appreciate it.
You made amazing. Made it seem cool because every time I see that stuff,
but don't. This looks it's $1,800. Do not spend that much money on it. That's the thing. It's not worth that much. I paid $300 for it. I got a really
Casey, I don't like things in my pockets. How is the feel of this in your pocket as far as thickness and size?
Do you rock a case on your phone?
I do, and that's what makes it too much. But then, I back pocket it, and I want to get away from that. I want to start front pocketing it.
Do you prefer a thick case or a slim case?
Mine's a slim case.
Okay.
I mean, I just literally, it's 2 phones stacked together. So just imagine that.
Yeah, I get what you're saying there.
It's kind of heavy. It's not that. It doesn't bother me. It hasn't bothered me yet. I've only had it for a couple of weeks, maybe 2 weeks now. It is heavier than a regular phone would be. But I have a case on it too, so.
Well, your description of it as far as it being the 4, because I agree, the 4, or I think my favorite size was the 5. I had a 5C that I'm mad that the battery went so shoddy, because I would have loved to just hold on to that until ever.
I've literally got a 4 in my hand right now, and it is about the same width as the Fold that I'm using now, folded in half. It's like the same. It's a tiny, tiny, tiny bit smaller. Yeah, you know what? It's pretty darn close. It almost fits perfect.
I like it.
It's pretty close.
Jamie, what have you been up to?
So I'm going to use my time here to kind of plug, so I don't know where else we would fit it in, but it is relevant. Have you guys ever seen the TV series called Spaced?
No.
Okay, here we go. So it's actually, I think it's one of the first projects that Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg worked on. So it's a British series. There's 14 episodes. I think it's split into 2 seasons, but Jessica Hines and Simon Pegg, they were the writers, and they're all directed by Edgar Wright. And the way it's described on IMDb, it's like Britain's, how do they say it? It's like their version of Friends almost. So it's like Jessica Hines and Simon Pegg, they're roommates in this flat, but it's great. It's like you see if you're a fan of Edgar Wright and like the Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, those movies, they're like laying the foundation for all of the comedy and like the themes in movies to come. Like there's an episode where Simon Pegg is like playing Resident Evil. I think it's like Resident Evil 2, and they work in like a zombie thing into the episode. It's really funny too. It's I think right now it's streaming on the Roku channel and Tubi. So yeah, I loved it. It's hilarious and kind of one of those hidden gem shows.
Adding to watch list now. Thank you.
No problem.
I mean, Mad About You, I'm only on season 5, so I got like 3 more seasons to go. But then Spaced, I'm excited.
It'll be waiting for you.
Hey, Jamie, have you finished The Mandalorian yet?
I have not, Chad.
No. How many episodes do you have left?
Spaced, though, real good. Spaced,
really
Spaced
good.
is real good.
Spaced.
Super good.
Yeah,
Love all like 20,000 episodes of that he's watched or whatever. Man, that was an amazing 20 hours, but where the fuck was that with Mandalorian?
Still need to watch season 2.
Next episode we record, James, I want you to read the plot for season 2 of The Mandalorian.
Okay, I can do that. Not a problem.
You guys are gonna make real on one of these threats, so I need to get going here.
Did you know Edgar Wright was a resistance trooper in The Last Jedi? I swear, like when it came to like the new trilogy for Star Wars, like everybody and their friends were like, you know, any director or writer that was of note just had to make a comment like, "Hey, can I be a stormtrooper? Sure, come on over." Like,
yeah,
everybody could be a part of it.
Simon Pegg was Ungar Plot.
Yeah, dude. And yeah, his voice. I had to look that up because I'm like, "There's no way," but because it was too deep, I didn't think he could do that. But then, you know, computers and stuff.
Or
maybe he just did it. But yeah, that was just a fun fact.
So onto the host, right?
Onto this thing, because I'm excited to talk about how I have not seen Shaun of the Dead either.
What?
I know.
That's I may like this one a little bit more than Shaun of the Dead, but yeah, let's get right into the movie discussion. Hot Fuzz released, was it March? Actually, yeah, March 4th. I think I said earlier it was April, but actually it was March 14th, 2007. Had a budget of, said 12 to 16 million, so maybe off by 4 million there, based on the numbers I found on the wiki. Box office, it made 80.7 million. Ratings and reviews, IMDb has an average of 7.8, Metacritic score of 81%, Rotten Tomatoes as a critic of 91%, and audience score of 89%. So reviewed quite well, which is those are some pretty good numbers there. So, and this is movie number 2 in the Cornetto trilogy. So James, since this was your first time, it seems like, tell me, what'd you think? Let's start there.
Can I start with, I'm looking at on IMDb, it talks about it's like parental guide, and so it says sex and nudity mild, and so I clicked on to be like, what was mild or what was in this? It was there was nudity. It's like Olivia Colman's character makes a couple sexual jokes. A woman is seen wearing fake plastic breasts over her shirt. The camera does not focus on her. Yep,
dude, when
mild.
You said that was the first thought I had. I was like, I remember those fake tits. That was totally it. That's totally it. That's great.
Oh, it's pretty awesome. I really enjoyed this one. Yeah, I'd never seen this this movie, and I was thinking, like, right off the bat, how they crammed in, like, for the most part, most of the notable British actors in the first like couple scenes, like at the police station, like Bill Nye, Martin Freeman, like God, forget the one guy. It
was like Coogan or
yeah. That's what I'm thinking of. I couldn't think of his name, but yeah, Coog. Oh, I can't think of his full name
Coogan.
though. Yes. And then they get to that town, and then it's like I'm like, oh my god, James Bond's in there, and it was just kind of funny to me, like just all the characters where I'm like, these are clearly repeat characters in most maybe other films that I've seen with these guys, which is only one other one now that I think about it, because I had seen The World's End in the theaters. So I think every single one of these characters are in that movie. But yeah, I really thought it was funny, and also even the direction felt very, very familiar. And after kind of like scrolling through, and I was like, oh, this is like Edgar Wright, and I was like, what else did he do? I'm like, yep, this feels exactly like Scott Pilgrim as far as how the movie's edited and cut and all that. So, but yeah, I thought it was funny throughout the whole thing. I don't think I really have a bad thing to say about it. I just let you guys keep going, and we'll talk about some of her favorite moments, I guess.
Yeah, Casey, is this a first time watch for you too as well?
So this is like a first time half watch. I don't remember how or when or what the circumstances were in. Maybe it was just by myself, but I remember starting this movie and not really connecting and being a little bored and not paying attention, and then not finishing it. And looking back, that's strange too, because I was a big fan of Shaun of the Dead. And obviously I've since seen World's End and enjoyed it, but then going back and watching it, I was actually pretty remiss that I didn't give it more time back whenever I watched it. And I think I blame it on just, youth and being a dummy and not really caring enough. But my goodness, this was amazing. This challenged whether or not I think it was better than Shaun of the Dead. And I loved Shaun of the Dead. And honestly, spoilers, I think I like this a little bit more, only because I'm not really a huge zombie movie fan as it is. And I think what I love about Edgar Wright movies is that it's like he has his own style, right? He has his own type of movie he's trying to make, and then he takes that and then wedges it into a different type of movie. So like this is very much a buddy cop movie, but then he wedges his own like there's always some sort of story about someone who has to like grow as a character and like evolve, and so that's quite clearly Angel's character. Only cares about the job, doesn't care about interpersonal relationships, has to like figure that out. So there's always that element in every one of his movies, and obviously it's almost always Simon Pegg's character, probably because he helps write these things in the Cornetto trilogy. I think he helped write them, I think. So like he's always that guy that always has to have that growing event. But there's always like relationship building. There's always like friendship, deepening or reconnecting in all of his movies, and he takes those themes and just shoves them into other genres. And I think that's hilarious. And I think maybe the reason I like this more is because I think I was a fan of Lethal Weapons and Bad Boys and things like that back in the day a lot more than I was of zombie films. So I think that might give it the edge. But man, what a great movie. I loved it from the beginning to the end. Like every couple of seconds you're hit with either a line of dialogue that makes you smirk, a cut of action that makes you kind of that entertains you or is unique or is also funny in its own right. Like there's physical comedy, there's comedy in the way that people are talking, the dialogue. It's everything. And one of the craziest parts, you're hit with it right in the beginning, is the opening montage scene where he's traveling from his original place in London out into the sticks. Just the way that Edgar Wright handles that montage, and I feel like I'm regurgitating because I think everyone who talks about this movie talks about that, but I gotta talk about it. It's perfect because it's not just your traditional flyover scenery and shots of a train moving, but it's Simon Pegg on the train holding his plant. It's showing the Vodafone signal slowly fading away as he's getting further away. It's showing the despair in each of the further away towns at night that he's getting to, and how small and isolated they feel. That alone just kind of sets you up for a lot of expectations of the ride you're in for. So I think it's an amazing movie. I think the like relationship development between Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, Danny and Angel. I think that is like the way that their relationship develops in the movie is so natural and like feels so right. I remember the scene. Shoot, I don't remember exactly what it was, but they're just Simon Pegg, Angel's talking a little bit personally about something that happened, and oh shoot, what was it? And then Nick Frost makes the joke like, "Oh, it's a shame," and you think that he's talking about the case that he was solving, but then he like cracks a joke, and he actually gets Angel to laugh, and I think it's the first time in the movie that he laughs in any way, like he's not being serious. So just watching that, and then towards the end, you get to the scene where they're in the middle of a gunfight, and then Angel tells him about like a one-liner he made earlier, and Danny's line is, what did he say? Like, "You're off the fucking chain, mate." Like, it's just so perfect. Like they're like best friends, and it's just that, and it's unfair because Edgar Wright and not Edgar Wright, sorry, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, like obviously in all the movies they've made, they're just so perfect together. That chemistry between those two actors is like it's unmatched, especially in comedy movies. It's just so good. And so I'm gonna stop rambling. Like, I think it's a fantastic movie. I love comedy movies. I love action movies. I don't like things that are too deep and serious, and this doesn't get too deep and serious. I shouldn't say that. I do like things that are deep and serious, but like this doesn't make me feel bad at all. Like, I feel good even about the things. I don't know. It's an awesome movie. It makes you feel good from the beginning to the end. I chuckled. I laughed. It was fantastic. 5 out of 5.
It was wow, that was well said, Casey. You kind of stated some of the same like feelings that I had going back and watching this movie. Jamie, I know that you've said that you've seen this before. Also a fan of Shaun of the Dead. What was it like going back and watching Hot Fuzz again this time?
Yeah, so to set it up for a bit, I'd seen this. This came out like I think senior year of high school, junior or senior year. So this was one that my buddies and I, somebody had the DVD, and we would throw it in like during our Friday night Halo LAN parties. Like, "Oh, you want to throw in Hot Fuzz? Sure." So I was very familiar with it, loved it, and then I hadn't seen it for a long time, and I always get a little nervous. Like, is this in that nostalgic space, or is it really as good as I remember it? And I watched it again, and it's amazing. Like everything Casey said, I agree with 100%. It's funny. It In my mind, I do like it more than Shaun of the Dead. I kind of always have though, and just the way that Edgar Wright, one of his great skills is to set up a joke and keep it as a running joke through the whole movie. Like with the swan, with when he gets the call from Stephen Merchant, Mr. Pisstaker, and he's just describing it. What's it look like? It's a swan, and then it shows up in the final scene and saves the day. It's so funny. I was like legitimate like belly laughs throughout the whole movie. I love this movie.
Going back, watches. I saw it in the theater when it came out. Then when it first came out on DVD, I picked it up, and I remember like going back to it and being, because when I saw it in the theater, I remember like the last half of the movie, I was just like laughing my ass off, like going into like um the grocery store like raid and everything towards the end, and everything going on there. I just remember it was so funny, and I remember getting the DVD and like watching it, and I just couldn't get back into it. And I think that was really the last time I had seen it, so I was really excited to go back and actually sit down and watch this again. And I was just floored at how brilliant the writing is for this, because I even went back and just watched like the first maybe like 10-15 minutes today, just to kind of get some things fresh in my mind. And there's like so much like little bits of dialogue in there. It's so funny. I think that what probably makes this movie rewatchable, just picking up some of those funny lines of dialogue. And I'm just blown away at the cast, the amount of people that they've pulled into this film. And I was just blown away to see, like the Hound, Walter Frey. I mean, just like some of these characters now I've seen pop up now in movies that I'm going back and watching for the first time. So especially the guy who plays Walter Frey. I just been recently watching Harry Potter, and I was like, oh, it's that guy. And now in Hot Fuzz, oh, it's that guy. And there was also I guess maybe it's like a dark comedy that's been on Netflix that we watched a few months back, and it's also like a British produced show, but it has I can't remember his name now. He's the Michael Scott of the British Office. What's that actor's name?
David
Gervais.
Brent, Ricky Gervais.
Yeah. It's like he's on that show too with him. I can't remember the name of that show too, but like where he lost his wife or whatever. It's kind of him trying to deal with that. But yeah, no, it was fun going back to this, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. So
dude, the Danny's dad, the cop chief, was also in Harry Potter. Just throwing it there. Lots of Harry Potter.
Yeah, he was Slughorn, right?
Slughorn, baby. Yeah. Yep. Loved
That's what I thought you were talking about at first.
Slughorn.
Yeah, I had to look that up
no,
too. I didn't. I
name?
forgot he was the cat guy. The dude at Harry Potter with the cat. I don't remember his name in Harry Potter.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's the guy you're talking about. Walder Frey.
He's just the caretaker.
About. Yeah, the caretaker. That's the dude.
Yeah.
Yep. So I never done this before, but I was clicking on the reviews, and I'm like, oh, only one person gave it a 1. Let me take a look and see what this is. Oh, never mind. I guess more people gave it a 1, but I'm reading the first review of the 1, and it sounds like exactly like why we all love the movie, so I think it's kind of funny because it says, first, 121 minutes, Hot Fuzz seems endless. Second, it plays like 2 separate movies. What? Somebody just said that. And then the part that they didn't like, though there are moments of dark comedy within the story, the second part, or the final hour, is nothing more than cartoon-like violence, which becomes tedious and drags on. No, the cartoon-like violence is like what makes the movie so darn funny. And to me, it reminds me of watching like a way more violent live-action Wallace and Gromit.
Oh.
Dude, exactly. And that's the best part is the end. The gunfight is so good. Jamie called it out in the beginning, the one-liner when she's like, nothing like a little girl on girl. They immediately stop in the middle of a gunfight and everyone bursts out laughing. It's the silliest thing. Like, they're all shooting at each other and then she makes this stupid one-liner and everyone stops and laughs. It's fantastic.
Well, and it only works because she's had one-liners the whole movie. It's the Edgar Wright thing.
Yeah.
we know it's what she does. And kind of on that theme, there are these jokes that it rewards rewatches, because this time I had the subtitles on because I was, just with kids, sometimes you have to do it. And it's the part where Angel is explaining to Danny the NWA and how they're actually this secret shadow organization, and he's explaining his dad. It's like, Danny, your dad is judge, jury, and executioner. Danny says, he is not judge, Judy, and executioner, because his accent is so thick. I didn't catch it.
So good.
I did not catch that.
I heard that. It was so good. No, I think that's true. And Chad said it too. This is a movie that it gets better the more you watch it, because you're going to find more of those things. I found myself trying to take notes of things that I thought were funny. And I was like 7 bullets in the first 10 minutes. It's like, I can't do this. I'm not going to watch the movie if I spend all the time talking about every single part of the movie that's good. It's like there's never a moment that you're bored. It's like nonstop, rapid fire, either comedy or action or something like in your face. It's amazing.
Yeah, there's like a one-liner too where it's what's like the church festival that's going on, and where like the police force has to like participate in it, or they're all showing up there. I don't remember, but there's another scene with Olivia Colman there. She's standing with 2 other people, and there's like a pig, like a pig roast.
I remember
she's
this,
like,
yeah.
I've caught myself in one of these positions before.
No, she's like, that's me after 3 drinks or something like that.
Or like when they go
looking
to
like me after 3 cocktails.
When they go to the accident scene too, they're talking about like the car with its top off. She makes some clips too about just we're like it really it's almost like there's parts where it has like jokes that are like on dad joke level, but just the context of how they're given in this film, it just makes it so stupid and funny. There's also a part too with it's like the beginning where they introduce the Andes. He makes some quip too, like to his dad. He's like about like he's like, you thought you were talking about the mountains, didn't you? And Danny comes in and mentions something about like scaling a mountain or something. I don't know. It just,
and
again,
then
it was
doesn't
like almost
a thing
like a
come
dad
flying
joke
out of the room and hit him in the
Yes.
face too? That's that gag where they just throw a filing cabinet. Like, it's so goofy, and it happens like 2 or 3 times, and I find myself laughing every time. Father Christmas stabbing him in the hand. That was Peter Jackson.
Yeah.
No, was it really?
That, yeah. Or I didn't see that. Like I found that in my YouTube viewing after the fact.
Olivia Colman, like as I was watching this, I actually didn't really know her by name until watching Hot Fuzz this time, and I was like, she looks so familiar, and I was like, oh, Fleabag, the Queen, or was it the Queen's, not Queen's Gambit, but the Queen show, but The Crown, yes,
Crown.
I just kind of like the absurd like violence in it, where it's the reporter, Tim Messenger. It's like waiting for them.
Yep.
And he gets like the church pillar or whatever. Like just like that is like the most absurd like violence in this movie, where like it just smashes his head and like everyone runs over, and the chief is like, or the inspector's like, oh no, nothing to see here. It's just been a very bad accident or whatever. Kind of playing into that whole crime scene thing. But yeah, I thought that was pretty funny.
One of my favorite bits, and it aligns with the reason that I loved the like character and relationship development between Simon Pegg and Nick Frost's characters, when Simon Pegg got in that brawl with the Yarp dude and then ends up smashing his pot on him. When Danny runs in, he goes, "Oh, what happened to your peace lily?" Like he doesn't say anything about the dude on the ground. He's like asking about the flower. It was just a subtle, silly little thing that I thought was great.
Well, I like I think it was that same scene where probably one of the scenes earlier, they just got done watching those action buddy cop movies. And so he's like, oh, did you say like, see you later? Or like, he tried to make like an Arnold joke or something. God, I don't know. When he was trying to...
Oh, is that shit just got real?
Yeah, like, and he's like, did you say this? And he's like, no, I didn't, but I said this earlier when I was distracting him with a monkey. Like, playtime's over or something. Yeah. I'm like, it's just like these. Yeah, I was like, it's like the one time when you hear like one of those like corny James Bond or Arnold Schwarzenegger type jokes where it like plays well in this movie. So I don't know. I like that.
Yeah, for quotes, I like early in the film where he's like, what was it like being stabbed? He's like, it was the most painful experience of my life. What was your second most painful experience?
And the way he asks it is like a
like a
small
little kid.
child.
Yeah.
It's so
like a child,
funny.
yeah.
It's perfect. Nick Frost plays this role so good.
Yeah, it's great. And where he asks them have you ever fired 2 guns while flying through the air? No. Have you ever fired 1 gun while flying through the air? Then later too, like when he's like, have you ever fired a gun in the air saying ah?
Yeah.
No,
and then
I
they do
fired...
that. That's
yeah.
the greatest part.
Oh, I found it. It was, yeah. Where's the trolley boy? In the freezer. Did you say cool off? No, I didn't say anything. Oh, that's a shame. Well, but there was a bit that I missed when I distracted him with a cuddle monkey and I said, playtime's over. And then I hit him in the head with a peace lily. You're off the fucking chain.
Yeah, I love that line.
I like it when it's the final grocery shootout and Angel gets there and he's like, all right, what's the situation? Like 2 blokes and a fuckload of cutlery or something like that.
Yes. There's something about like it's something about the bolognese.
Yeah.
Right,
he thinks he gets shot and then he's covered in sauce. And that actually makes the girl on girl line even funnier because then everyone's laughing and it looks like he's covered in blood and he's just laughing at this stupid joke. So it's just so absurd. And no one talked about those guys yet, but the detectives I think are hilarious.
The Andes?
Yeah, well, they're just so angry the whole time. And the one, I don't remember, they're at the bar or whatever, and one of them like says something mean and like takes a sip of his beer, and he goes, "You've got a mustache," because he had the like beer mustache. And he just goes, "I know." It's just it's so brilliant.
I was gonna say, Chad, I think you said it earlier, but did you mention that how Danny said the power of Grayskull?
No, I missed
in this movie.
Oh, dude, I've got that written down as something I thought.
Oh, I was gonna say, Chad, I thought for sure that would have been the first thing you mentioned about this thing.
Oh God, no!
It's when they see all the guns in that farmer's shed. They like do that crazy cut, an absurdly long cut of all of the different shots of all the guns.
Walter Frey's shed.
By the power of Grayskull.
It seems silly to me, but like I didn't even catch like when I'm like, why is this movie called Hot Fuzz? And until one guy in the movie goes, "Oh my God, here comes the fuzz!" I'm like, oh, I forget how the fuzz is a like the police are coming, or it's just like a comment on government or whatnot. I don't know. So, but the movie title I was really confused about. Pretty much the whole movie.
Police referred to as the Fuzz.
Yeah.
Well, and it's so clever because it's not easy to do. But one thing I think that works really well in this favor is none of the cops are lethal, save for like the sea mine at the end. Like they don't kill anybody. You know, they find a way to shoot the sign, which takes out the bad guys, and you know they get the guy's head in a bear trap or whatever. Just like subtle, really, really smart thing that doesn't ruin the comedy tone.
Yeah, there was something I watched too where it was like the connections of like when Simon Pegg's character like first meets like the townsfolk and like the lines that they say and like how it comes back in the end. So like in the beginning he comes in like she's like fascist and he's like no fascist, or like the whole crossword puzzle thing, you know?
Yeah.
With the hag, and then like there's the shootout. She's like fascist. Then he's like hag, and he shoots like the potted plant for like down. So like hag was like whatever, like 12 down or something like that. But maybe getting too deep. But I thought that was quite entertaining.
I don't think you were. They do this in Shaun of the Dead.
No, I think that's right.
Yeah, there's like a scene where they explain the whole plot of the movie in Shaun of the Dead, where they lay out their plan for the day, and that's literally what happens throughout the movie. Like they go to the pub, meet their friends, and it's on YouTube. I don't know, Casey, I'm sure you've seen this.
Well, and that was the whole joke with the grocery store owner. He literally would like make jokes in plain sight about what was about to happen. Like the way that they would build all of that was verbatim.
I want to think as a comedy film, I feel like this is like 2007. We're getting into that era of like the Apatow comedy too, like the 2 hour plus comedy film. And I think sometimes for me personally, like some of those films can kind of seem like can be long and are harder for me to rewatch, even though like they're great movies. This movie is 2 hours. Just it's like what 2 hours and 1 minute, I think, or something like that, or close.
Yeah, it's like 2. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, and does this feel like it's that long? I feel like this movie went by pretty fast for me while watching it, and there's not a lot of downtime. I feel like the Apatow like comedy where you kind of have like the fast start, then you kind of have that lull, kind of towards like the middle to end of the film, and then it kind of picks up again. But I thought this was like, for me, I thought maybe the lull was like almost like the movie watching scene where he's like Bad Boys 2 or Point Break. He's like, are you asking me which one you want me to, or I haven't seen or want to watch? He's like, no, which one do you want to watch first?
No, I'm with you on that, Chad, with the 2 hour comedies, because I feel like 40-Year-Old Virgin feels like it's almost a 3 hour movie, even though it's got hilarious parts. But then I just looked it up. The movie is actually 156 minutes, so shorter than this movie, and this movie did not feel like it was that long.
Did you guys like realize like the like, you know, like I was like, oh my god, I didn't know Yarp the trolley boy was Cleggar or the Hound from Game of Thrones. Someone totally kind of threw me for a loop.
I've never watched Game of Thrones.
I've never watched Game of Thrones.
Oh, I'm not the only one. That feels rare.
Are you guys
Wait, Jamie? Have you watched Game of Thrones?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sitting here going like Walder Frey, the Hound.
Yeah, no idea. No idea.
Yeah, I was with you, Chad. Wow. I thought for sure, James, I think I knew, Casey, that you had not. But I thought you had.
No. My mother is caught up in current, though. So if you guys want to chat with her.
My father-in-law has watched it like 12 times through. It's the only... He continually watches it. It's his favorite thing.
Especially the first 2 seasons.
I did see there's a new trailer for the new show coming out in 2022.
Yes.
Like Dragons of Windsor or something.
Oh, I did see Doctor Who was in it. What's his name?
That's right, Matt Smith.
The newest one?
Matt Smith, yeah.
House of the Dragon. Hey, I was close.
Yeah.
Like Doctor Who's in it?
Yeah.
Is he going to have to work out?
Right. Well, then that's how they bring in like the dialects, and so then there's that whole thing.
I've never seen Doctor Who, so I guess I have to be like, not Charles. What else? Who did he play in The Crown?
Dialects?
Philip.
You mean Daleks?
Oh, nice.
Not to push my glasses up at you.
That was well done, Casey.
I haven't watched Doctor Who since like 1987, so sorry, Casey.
Really?
Yeah.
The reboot was in like 2005. You're talking the old crap. I haven't watched the old crap.
Yeah.
I've only watched the new crap with Matt Smith. And I say crap for all of it because
they pronounce it dialects.
McDonald's. They say dialects in the old ones?
Yeah.
Oh, well, shoot. I stand corrected. Then I apologize for being a pedant.
No, I don't know. I'm just made that up.
Damn it. Then I retract my apology. But I'll give it back if you need it.
Okay.
I'm a pushover.
Did you guys know that? So Edgar Wright's next movie is going to be a reboot of The Running Man?
No way.
Wait, after Last Night in Soho?
You know what my favorite part is? It's the description of this is the futuristic United States of 2025 when the world has become a dystopia. So like
not far off.
It's going to come out 3 years before it's the future. It's pretty good.
But
I'm
James,
excited about that.
He has one coming up. Is that on your calendar?
That Last Night in Soho?
Yeah.
Yes, because it does have our girl Anna Taylor-Joy in it, as well as Matt Smith.
Oh, 2 for 2.
Wow.
Ding, right? Ding, ding, ding. Full circle, like always.
Well, Anya Taylor-Joy is also going to be in that Nosferatu remake that the witch guy is doing.
Oh, yeah, the witch.
Isn't he an Edgar, too?
Wait,
Eggers.
what?
Robert Eggers.
Oh, so I was like, wait, what?
Close.
We got the Andes, and now we got the Edgars. Those aren't any mountains I'm aware of, though.
No.
And then also, it looks like Baby Driver 2 is in the works, which I like Baby Driver, but didn't we say all we needed to say about Baby Driver?
I didn't watch it, so that's all I have to say about it.
All right.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I would like to.
Same.
Oh, well, that's fun fact. But I think it's too new for us to review.
Yeah.
Wow, cool story, Hansel.
Cool story. Way to go.
I've never been to Mount Vesuvius.
Where does this rank then? I want to hear everyone's ranking of the Cornetto trilogy.
I've only seen.
Okay, so what's all involved in the Cornetto trilogy?
Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and
the World's End.
World's End, yeah.
Why is it called the Cornetto trilogy?
Because the ice cream.
So I read about it in the first episode in the Shaun of the Dead. They referred to Cornettos by name in the movie, and like after the premiere, they got shipped a whole bunch of Cornettos. Like the brand saw it and was like, "Haha, we loved it, thanks," and sent them ice cream. And so as a gag, they made it a line in this one to try to get free ice cream, and then it just became a thing. And because these were like 3 movies that were thematically like a trilogy, because it was Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg wrote them together. And I think they've even talked about how, and so I stole this from them, right? About how it was the theme was kind of like, you know, the protagonist having to grow and evolve a little bit. And the main premise of the movies were relationships over the actual like theme of the movie. So it was kind of a trilogy to begin with. And then they tried to get some free ice cream.
Okay, hold on. So Cornetto's is a brand of ice cream?
That's the little ice cream cone things that they eat.
In a cop car.
Nick Frost eats one and gets a brain freeze. Those are called Cornettos. They're like, we have them here. I don't know if they're called Cornettos here, but they're like the little things you get at a gas station in the little freezer.
What a weird thing to be.
Like Schwans or whatever.
For the trilogy to be named after, but it's still kind of fun. Okay, well, I haven't seen Shaun of the Dead. And I think I only saw World's End in the theater, but I enjoyed it. So I'll just go Hot Fuzz, World's End, and then Shaun of the Dead is my third because I haven't seen it.
What about you, James? Or not? What about you, James? Tell us again. Hey, Jamie, what's yours? Ranking.
So I like
So actually, like James, I've yet to see World's End. So mine goes Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, and then Spaced because I haven't seen World's End. Casey,
I'm gonna go.
I'm
gonna go. Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, World's End, and The Mandalorian.
How dare you?
Ditto minus The Mandalorian. But no, I think that's spot on. I think World's End was good. It just didn't have the same just magic that Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz had.
too much CG.
I don't know if that was it, or maybe I think with Simon Pegg as like a non-likable protagonist was harder to deal with. And I know you don't like him really right away in Hot Fuzz, but you're kind of like giving him as, oh, he's the guy you're following. Whereas in World's End, he's kind of like the irredeemable one that still has to grow, but you really don't like him at first. That's
Otherwise, I'm going to throw Scott Pilgrim in the mix, as I really love that movie.
That's
a
good
too.
one. James, Oscars. This is the No Country year, right?
Yes. I was like, wait, what? Yeah, let me tell you about these Oscars. So Simon Pegg, funnily enough, was up for a... Wait for it. Where is it? I lost it. There we go. Alexander Korda Award for Best British Film. It was a nominee. It did not win. No, this thing didn't have any Oscars. It's funny. Like, I was looking at some of these, some of the awards that they got. And God, how many award shows do we have
Too
these
many.
days? No kidding. And so I think we need
everybody
to
gets
back.
A trophy.
Right. It's like, yeah, everybody gets the participation trophy. What the hell? So no, this didn't win anything or wasn't up for anything as far as Oscars go. In my opinion, though, like, I guess, let me take a look at Shaun of the Dead. I'm just kind of curious for Edgar Wright as a director. Has he been up for anything? Like, as far as a writer goes or anything? So hold on, I'm checking that out right now.
Yeah, it's the same year that Juno came out too.
And Knocked Up. Pregnancy comedies, big year for them.
Yeah, this thing, yeah, like, he hasn't been up for anything as far as writer, director, Edgar Wright or anything, not yet. But yeah, nominees and all that. Edgar Wright for Best Director, yeah, but it's like an Empire Award, whatever that is, and same thing with Simon Pegg, an Empire Award. They were both nominees.
I feel like another movie we just recently watched had an Empire Award. While watching this movie at the beginning, he wins they say he won the Golden Baton Award. And as they were going through those awards, I wanted to research this, but I didn't. I was like, are these all real, like, awards, or are they just like making them up and they somehow are like a not a parody, but my thought is escaping me. It's not cynicism. It's just like making fun of like police awards, I guess. What I'm trying to say.
That's parody, like a parody of other.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you're spot on.
Yeah. All right.
I just Googled Golden Baton Award.
I did too. It has something about like with orchestras, right? Conductors.
Yeah. So like, I'm like, I don't think that's accurate, but I mean, but I do know in kickball we do have the Golden Lunchbox. That is a real thing.
Okay.
Wait, what's the Golden Lunchbox?
Yeah, it's a kickball award if you win the national championships of kickball, usually held in Wisconsin somewhere, I feel like.
Of course, between like a bar and a cemetery.
Yes. The Golden Lunchbox. I was just seeing if there was going to be a definition on Google. There isn't. There's just a cute golden lunchbox with a cat face on it.
It's funny, though, because it could totally be, like, for those of us who live in the USA and don't even know any better, that could absolutely be a real award for British police, It's like, sure, Golden Baton.
Yeah, it's like they don't know how to name their things like cookies and biscuits, and so it's just my wife and my son were watching the British baking show before we started recording tonight, and my son was
I missed
asking,
that. I should have said that in my update. I'm watching that too.
Sweet. He was asking why they called them biscuits and not cookies.
That's a great question.
That's a great question, and I demand someone from the UK answer that, because they're cookies, damn it.
Then he asked, what do they call biscuits? Do you know, James?
I don't know, like a buttermilk biscuit. I don't know that they have them. It'd be a roll, like a dinner roll.
I think it would be a roll, and yeah, I don't have a good answer for you on the biscuits thing too, because that's always confused the hell out of me when I was a kid. But I did enjoy my biscuits with my tea.
I bet you did.
So straight up, they call them scones. I just literally, the third result when you Google what do they call buttermilk, it's like, what do they call buttermilk biscuits in England? They call them scones or scones or whatever, however they're pronounced.
Cool.
Scone.
Now you know. We've
Weird.
problem solved.
I'm excited that you used your phone's translator and did American
Come
English to
on,
British
phone.
English.
Bro, I'm in a command center with
Buttermilk
like 5
biscuits.
screens.
Hey guys,
You
we
know
did
me
this
better than that.
World Hunger's next, right? All right. All right, really quick. So reviews. Everyone loves this film. This film is 14 years. It seems like this film has aged quite well, held up over time. What do you guys feel?
Oh, for sure. Oh, I think it aged very well. I was excited to watch it. Like it's been, I'm excited always to watch a comedy that I haven't seen. I feel like it's a rare thing, so I'm excited to throw Shaun of the Dead in here in fairly soon, and hopefully laugh my butt off there too.
Sweet.
Yeah. Does anyone do this? I have this strategy I have with certain comedies because I want to kind of forget some of the jokes, so I'll add like gaps in between when I watch them. Like I'll put it on the shelf or whatever for like 3 years or so. Does anyone else do this? Nope, just me. Okay.
No, you're weird. You're weird. Super weird.
Okay.
I get what you're kind of saying, Jamie. I don't specifically do that, but there are movies that I try to let simmer for a while. Like I probably haven't watched Wedding Crashers in a long time. I haven't watched Old School in a long time. Just movies that I think that got too much play when they came out. So I'm excited to go back to those eventually. So I kind of see what you're saying.
Yeah, I think that's a better way of saying what I was going to say because I have my favorites too. Like I have Dumb and Dumber memorized, and I'll still watch it over and over again and laugh just as hard. But there's some, yeah, that I like to kind of leave some space to forget some of the jokes, and then it's funnier the next time.
Right, like when I can't remember. I went over to somebody's house and Tommy Boy was on, and I sat down immediately.
Yeah,
because I hadn't seen it in a while.
Hey, James, talking about like movies on a shelf. When Danny opens up his like DVD collection, my first thought was like, oh, that's what it's like at James's house.
Yep. Except for those motion sensor lights, so it goes
right.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, by the way, does Jamie still have your copy of
Captain Marvel?
Captain Marvel
and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and Casino. I've not forgotten.
Shit,
I know. Pandemic
and
sucks.
Then he moved.
I know exactly where they are though, James, and they will come back to you. I swear.
They will be mine. Oh yes, they will be mine.
They're in a storage pod in Wisconsin.
That actually might be faster for me to receive.
I know.
Right by the kickball field.
Right. Yeah, I know exactly where they are. They're at Ron's Pawn Shop in Faribault, Minnesota.
I would never.
So if you want to go pick them up, James.
Okay.
Should we wrap her up?
Hold on. I want to end with what I thought was a really good take from like a YouTube review that I was watching that I thought was really good. But just the way that he phrased it, I thought was really good. But this movie, and it's kind of the same of all three of the Coronado trilogies. It's such a good combination of being not just a comedy movie, but it's a spoof, a comedy, it's an homage, and it's self-aware, like all at the same time. Like it's a spoof of buddy cop movies. It's, straight up comedy because it's a unique Edgar Wright creation. It's an homage to these movies because not only do they show like the Bad Boys and shoot, what's the Keanu movie?
Point Break.
Point Break. They show the damn DVDs in the movie. Then he literally does the thing, like he shoots in the air. They talk like it's a perfect homage to it. And then all at the same time, they're like super self-aware of how much of that exists. Like it is a goofy parody tribute. It's just I think Edgar Wright does it really well, and I think together Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright have done to these movies a way better homage than anything like Scary Movie or Not Another Teen Movie or any of those parody type things could ever do to the genre that they were spoofing. I think this is a much better way to kind of hold those things up. And it's clear that Edgar Wright was a big fan of these types of movies, and this was kind of a call to those things that he enjoys.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost if anyone wants to do a parody film, they should maybe imitate the style a little bit more.
Yeah, agreed.
Because a lot of those movies are pretty bad.
Yeah, agreed.
I think, I mean, there's probably a way to make them entertaining and enjoyable. Like Hot Fuzz.
This is it.
I'm going to say Scary Movie and Scary Movie 2 were good. They were still originals in their own right. I'd say anything past that for parody movies, yes, I would agree with you 100%. But the way that these guys did it were very clever. Yeah.
They were enjoyable. They were shallow, which is fine. Like, it's not that big of a knock, but this is just like a damn masterclass in how to do
100%.
That.
Yeah, I'm not going to take away from what you said.
Them.
Correct.
But no, I giggle at the first couple Scary Movies. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed those.
All right, awesome. Before we go, I want to thank you for downloading this episode of Movie Time Machine. Remember, new episodes drop on Fridays. Please send your questions, comments, and feedback to movietimemachinepod@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter @MovieMachinePod. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.